to the last of our daily draws for With Nature 2020, a collaborative art project reminding the world of some of the most endangered plant and animal species on our planet and why we should protect them. Well, it's the last of the films we're making to help locations in the world that are particularly hard hit just now with the pandemic, but there will be one more film, and that's the one that we're going to make, showing you how to draw our very own Scottish wildcat. But that's a totally separate story. Today's species is a plant, and a plant with a really lovely name, the Wateree Trillium. And it's named after the Wateree River, around which it grows in the US state of South Carolina. South Carolina is on the east coast of the US, and it is very watery. Many rivers and streams flow across the state, which are all of them arising in the Appalachian Mountains and emptying into the Atlantic Ocean. And it's also where some of the greatest diversity of the trillium species can be found. Now, these plants are called trilliums, by the way, because their whole structure is based on the number 3. So they've got 3 flowers, they've got 3 petals, but the Wateree Trillium is not doing well. It's endangered, which is why we're going to draw it as part of the With Nature 2020 project, which you can follow on social media by going to @WithNature2020. But right now, grab your pencil, a little bit of paper, let's start drawing. So this is what we're going to draw. We're going to draw and colour our Wateree Trillium. And if you're looking at that thinking, I can't draw, don't worry. At the Little Art School, we are going to take you through this step by step. And even if you are convinced you can't draw, I promise you, you will be able to draw this. I've had 90-year-olds telling me they can't draw, and by the end of it, they are astonished that they actually can. We're going to start that. So that's where we're going to finish at this stage with pencil, but we're going to build up to that. We're going to start here with just a simple oval and a few shapes, and we're going to develop it. And what I'll do is I'll draw it, and you can either draw along with me and pause it to keep catching up, or watch the short video. It'll be a minute or 2 minutes of each step, then pause it and you'll be able to see a still. So let's move our colour, and we're going to start here with this one. So I'm going to find about the middle of my page here, and from the middle of my page I am going to draw a semicircle. Here we go. Now, with drawing, the first thing, this is the most important drawing lesson ever. Move your hand up, slightly up the pencil. Don't grip it as if you're writing. Really nice, relaxed grip. Moved up the pencil, lovely and relaxed. And don't think about getting it right, absolutely right, first time. If it doesn't go right, you just rub it out. It's only a piece of paper and a pencil. There we go. So, nice, relaxed, loose grip. And what I'm going to do then is come up to the top here, to that point, and I'm just going to take a very nice, loose, relaxed line down and another there. So how simple is that? That's us. We have begun. Drawing is about shapes. It's all about looking for shapes. So here, if I come here, I'm going to do a little curve there at the bottom. I'm going to take a line out there, widen it slightly there, and another line to join. So we've got that shape there. And let's take this shape now. We're going to do this shape. Look, can you see there's a gap there? That gap's really important. Let's leave the gap there. This isn't so much a straight line. It's got a very slight curve, which is really handy because we've got a curve in our wrist. So curve it down to there. Take it up like that. You're really following that curve line there, and then at the end let's just go for a kind of little curve down to there. We've got that shape. Almost finished this stage now. If it looks a bit messy, don't worry, we're rubbing a lot of these, we'll rub a lot of these out anyway. I'm going to start there and put a little mark there, then I'm going to put a little mark where I want to go, And I'm just taking it up in a kind of very relaxed, wavy line. Up, down, and there. And then I'm going to take it, it's about a centimetre from there. Follow the line. You see, I've followed the line there, just left that slight space all the way down to here. I'm going to come just up to there from the bottom. Take a nice little curved, relaxed line round. So that's that shaping. Right, almost finished now this stage. We will come here to there. Let's take it off the edge of the page, and from there the same. Off the edge of the page like that. And that is our first shape. So you can pause now, make sure you've got those shapes down, and then we'll move on to the next stage. So this is the next step, and we're just going to adapt it slightly. I want to start here with this wonderful big top petal here coming up, keeping that grip nice and loose. To there, so that you've got that shape. Looks like a little lemon, can you see that coming in there? Now here on this side, what I want you to do is think about the shape between the shape. This is a real key for drawing. Negative shapes, shape between the shape. So there, can you see we're going to put in almost a triangle coming up there to there with that line. Coming a little way along there and starting to curve it. I'm going to take it to about there and in a curve. And here, from there, another curve. That's that done. Right, on this side, if we come down this line here, then I'm going to take another big curve up. And here we've got that little shape there. Then coming down, I'll take it right into there. And I'm just going to put a little line there to remind me later to put that in when we come to the outlining bit. And that is pretty much all we're going to do around there. All I want to do now is add in the stem. So here, I'm just going to put two lines with a slight curve in it. Just a slight curve, and keep that grip nice and relaxed. That's the second stage. So if you pause, get that down, and then we'll move on to the final part. So this is the final drawing now, and I hope you're really pleased that you've already got these basic shapes in. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect. It's the idea here is to do a drawing that we can get the colours on and join in this amazing project and send it in and be part of this bigger picture. Right, what I'm going to do is now adapt this circle. I'm going to turn it into there. So I'm going to rub the top off with my rubber. There. And come round and up here and around there. So if you feel like these bits have got a bit messy, mine definitely have. I'm just going to use my eraser here, so just to give me room to put that final piece in there. And I'll redraw that in. So we've got that bit there. And then coming up here, can you see we've got another shape there? I'm going to bring it up, round, and round there. So that's pretty much done now. All I've got to do is put these veins on the leaves. So again, loosen your grip, and I'm going to come in with 3 lines. 1, 2, oh, that wasn't quite right up there. Start again. 1, 2, 3, then a couple of extra lines. Doesn't matter if they're not the same. But here we're going to have 1 coming out, 2. And then this one, I want us to put a few lines as if we've got these little veins coming off it. You'll see what we're doing at the next stage when we get to the colouring. That's it. That's our drawing done. So we're ready now to move on to the colouring. This drawing, along with our earlier drawings of the white-necked Picathartes, the Dalmatian pelican and the northern muriki monkey, are part of a bigger project at With Nature 2020, bringing attention to endangered species. Now, when I was a child, we only really heard about one species that had gone extinct, apart from the dinosaurs, that is, and that was the dodo. But now we hear about endangered species all over the place, and many of them are what I'd call everyday species, like the cuckoo or the dormouse. Others are lower profile, but all of them are a real cause for concern because each of them has evolved to play its part in maintaining what's called the web of life. And that includes us, human beings. And if too many species disappear, what does that mean for us? At With Nature 2020 wants to highlight this disappearing diversity by creating giant pictures of endangered species across the world on the 22nd of May, which is the International Day for Biodiversity. Many, like our Scottish wildcat here and there, will be created as real images on the ground. And that's also the case with for Columbia, the state capital of South Carolina. But instead of using clothes, which is what we're doing, they've decided to use drawings to depict their Wateree Trillium. Now, to do that, they want you to give each of the drawings a background colour that will suit its place in the larger collage. But let me tell you about that in a minute. So if you live in South Carolina, we're going to give you a postal address, and I'll put a little slide up showing it at the end to send your image to. But if you don't live anywhere near to South Carolina, then it's the usual thing. Scan or photograph your drawing and send it by email to withnaturesc@protonmail.com. And postal address within South Carolina, USA. I'll show all this on the slide. Yuri Fleming, 709 Wateree Street, box #307. Columbia, South Carolina, 29205. All of that information is going to come now, and we'll show it right at the end of the video as well. So get your colouring pencils now, and let's put some colour on to our Wateree Trillium. Okay, let's get some colour down. Now I want you to leave the background because I'm going to come into the background. It's really important, the background colour, and it might not necessarily be the pale green. We've got three to choose from: a pale green, a dark green, or a purple or black. So leave the background, I will come on to that. For our actual Wateree Trillium itself, I'm going to use two greens. I'm going to bring a bit of paper in so I can show you here. If I bring a bit of paper, I've got two greens. Essentially, I've got a lovely pale green here, which I'm going to use for those leaves. And I've got a darker green that I'm going to use on these big leaves here. So I've got that for the petals in here for these darker leaves. So those two. The other colours you'll need is a purple and a black, or a purple or a black. It's fine, either of those will do. Right, so let's get going, and I'm going to start with my paler green. These pencils are pretty old. I got them when I was about 8, so they've travelled around with me everywhere for 40 years. So what I'm trying to say here is you don't need anything fancy. Just a light green and a dark green, and if you've not got colouring pencils, you could do it in felt tips, do it in crayons, do it in whatever you can lay your hands on. Paint it if you like. I've been enjoying with these With Nature videos. I've been really enjoying getting my colouring pencils out. It's been lovely, quite nostalgic. So we've got. I'm just going to go through these shapes. If you look at what shapes I'm doing with the pale green. We've got several With Nature 2020 how to draw videos now on our this YouTube site. We've got the Dalmatian pelican for Bulgaria. I'm going to come in now and I'm going to do these two as well. We've got a white-necked Picathartes for Ghana. That took me quite a while to get to say that properly. And we have the Muriki monkey for Brazil. And there will also be a Scottish wildcat, which is ours. So you can have a go at any of those to be part of, really just to see what this amazing project is doing and how truly global it is as well. So they're the bits I'm going to do with my paler green, and I'm also going to do here. You see, can you see I've coloured quite hard here? I'm pressing quite hard because I really want the colour down. But what I'm going to do now, that noise is just me sharpening my pencil. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in using my pencil very sharp on the side. I'm going to very lightly colour the leaves. And this is going to give us a background colour so we can put the darker green on top of it. So that is the leaves being coloured. This one as well. Right, now I'm going to take my darker green, and what I'm going to do here is I want all those lines we've put in for the veins, I want to go on one side of them and then leave a small gap. You see that, so that the paler green comes through. So it's the paler green that becomes the veins of the leaves. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure it will. If you see there, you see, so I'm just using those lines. And at the end, I'm not going right to the edges. I'm just sort of, as I get towards the edge of the colour, I'm softening it slightly. Where I'm going quite hard there, and then just nice and soft at the edges. And that will allow the veins of the leaves to show through. Making these videos for these really very different countries and doing a little bit of research to ensure that I've got things right has just made me desperate to travel again, as I'm sure are many of you, and certainly made me think that I would love to visit the Carolinas. What a beautiful country you have. Very different to where I'm doing this, sitting here in Scotland. Although we could probably give you a run for your money in wet weather, I think. We're quite famed for rainfall over here on the west coast of Scotland. Right, so can you see how the pale green we've still got around the edges, and we've still got it showing in the veins, and I'm going to do exactly the same here. So nice and dark on the inside, and going around each of the veins, and I'm not taking the green all the way to the edge either. This is just to make it so it's not big blocks of colour, that we've got a bit of variety. Right, I'm now going to start to try to give you your instructions. I really hope I get this right, for what to do with the background. Let's just finish this. So the background, you've got your background here. This is really important. This amazing plant, the Wateree Trillium, is really luscious in its simplicity because it's so beautifully green. But as well as colouring the plant in, we're also going to give it a background, which we call a ground in art. And keeping the idea of this, so think about this bigger collaged image of the plant in your mind, you'll understand why the South Carolinians want some drawings to have a background corresponding to the leaves, some to the flower, and so on. So they're asking people to colour in the background depending on the first letter of their surname. So if your surname begins A to K, don't worry, I will put a slide on with this. If your surname begins A to K, please use forest green. So that's this, so a nice dark green, and you can colour all of your background using that. If your name begins with L to S, mine starts with R, hence why I have done my background in a pale green. So A to K, dark green background, L to S, light green background. Now, if your name begins with T to Z, or I feel like I should say Z maybe for our American audience, is use dark purple or black in your background. So here we go. I'm just going to take the purple first because we just want to finish the colouring here. So I'll show you where the purple is. So we've only got a little bit of purple there. So I'm going to show you here, because I've already got one in green, I'm going to do the background of this one now in purple. Although my name is Robinson with an R, my maiden name had a T, so that's why I'm going to go also so we can see what the difference is. And I think the best way is I'm going to just get my pencil really sharp. Can you see it's lovely and sharp? And I'm going to just on the edge there, go down pretty quickly. Do the whole of my background in purple. I love purple and green together. Now, don't worry, if you're one of the greens, like this, you can either try and use a slightly, you know, if you're using a light green, you could use a slightly different green to the one you've used there. If you've only got one light green, just do it the same. And then can you see what I've done there? I've just gone around it in a pen, which has made it work. Here we go. And all the instructions about where to send it, we will put in slides as well, so you'll be able to see all that. Don't worry about that. So I quite like it with the purple. Looks quite different, doesn't it, from the green? So if you're a T to a Z or Z, you can go for purple. Now, you can see it really comes to life when you go around it. Just going around it like this, just so that the leaves really stick out. Oh, I cannot wait to see what this looks like when all the pictures come together to create your beautiful native plant here. I just think it's going to look incredible. Make sure you send it in. Post it if you're in South Carolina, or send it by, take a photo or scan it and send it by email. I think I'm going to make sure that I send mine in. So I hope, I think I'll send them both in. So you've got a purple and a green there to use. So make sure you send them in. I hope you've really enjoyed that, and really, I hope that you've built your confidence in drawing, because anyone can draw. So there's our completed Wateree Trillium. Mine's got its light green background because my surname's R, but remember, you should do yours according to the first letter of your surname. So forest green for A to K, light green for L to S, or dark purple black for T to Z. And then just send your drawing to the South Carolina group by email or post it if you're in the state. I'll show you those addresses again right at the end here. Now, for all our daily draw films for With Nature 2020, it's worth saying that the teams will need some time to collate their giant images before the 22nd of May, so get drawing and please try and send in your pictures by the 7th of May. Thank you for drawing with us today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to follow and share at With Nature 2020 on social media, where the event is going to unfold on the 22nd of May. Thank you for drawing with us. Make sure you take a look at the other videos, and goodbye for now.